You're tuned into Recovery TV, the voice of hope, with your host, John J. Tassoni Jr. Discussions and information on addiction and mental health issues. Now, here's John and today's guest.
Welcome to another edition of Recovery TV, and I'm your host, John Tassoni. My guest today is Mr. Rico Warren, and Rico is with the Coastal Wellness Centers of New England.
Hi,
Welcome,
John.
Rico. Thank you for joining us today.
How you doing?
Always a pleasure to have you. A lot of times we want to talk about recovery housing. Tell me about recovery housing, because there's a lot of people looking for recovery housing.
As far as my recovery house, I can't talk about others.
No, I
but
want to talk about yours.
You want to talk about mine? My simple motto is, if you want recovery, I'm your guy. If you don't, then I just have to let things go as they are. We're located at 142 Waterman Avenue in East Providence. Been there about 2.5 years right now. And actually we're at capacity, which is
Really?
for the first time and since we've been in existence.
Why is that? Why are you in capacity now? Is it because there's not enough housing for folks that coming out of residential treatment or need treatment for in-house? Why is it now?
I think it's because of the work we put in behind the scenes. People are starting to understand what we represent as a recovery house. And I have actually another entity in Boston, the DOC of Boston. A couple of the parole officers reached out to me about having a few of their people coming out. It's expanding. I mean, that's what we need. I don't understand why we don't have any or enough room for people at recovery housing.
Well, there's a lot of people too that are homeless. I think the number is close to 700-800 folks right now.
Okay.
Probably some of them need to come out of residential treatment, and they have no place to go. There's not enough recovery houses. Now you're telling us that all of a sudden you're full. You're full. Now, what about the rest of the folks? I mean, is there enough recovery housing in Rhode Island to support the people that are coming out of treatment?
I would
in
say,
your estimation.
in my estimation, I have a different view as well. I serve those people you're talking about. I cook for them every Sunday down at Matheson Street Church. And I understand. I have people or gentlemen now that is building houses, but we're not getting any commitment from the state, if you will, or leads in that area so that we can have a commitment to fill these houses once they're done. And that is a bother to me, but I'm not a controlling person like that.
Yeah.
If it happens, it happens. I can only have what's in front of me.
So tell my viewers, what is a day at the recovery house?
Okay, so a day at the recovery house is, at this specific recovery house, there's 2 rules, right? And I know I ran from a lot of rules. So we have a contract which they sign that covers all the policies. But my 2 rules is honest communication and do your part. Do your part is going to meetings. If you're not working every day, I do connect people with jobs. I have a large network of people that are willing to take those people on if they fit. Just being kind to your neighbors inside the home. It starts at home and ends at home. I believe the purpose of myself is to live on site, to be that example. That's what I believe. That's something different. But most of all, I have all the guys working. Everybody's working. If they're not working a job, they're working on their recovery as well up front. They got to go to meetings every day. And if you're working, it's the minimal of 4 meetings a week. However, having a sponsor and things like that. So it's...
Now, you track all the meetings that they go to?
Yes, so they have a sign-up sheet that they do. However, like I said, I'm not a babysitter. I'm very direct with them. And this is before they even come in the house. I have a pre-assessment with them, and then I show them the house, and I introduce them to several people, and then I have the final sit-down where they make the decision if they want to be a part of it or not. And I don't know what other houses are doing. That's I keep my focus
Yeah,
on
yeah.
where I'm at.
Let me ask you a question.
Please.
So, I come into your house and you lay out the rules. And you say, can you adhere to the rules? And if I say no, what happens?
I will refer you to one of the other houses.
Okay.
I will not let you go. And that's just in the sense of relapsing as well. It's part of the process. It could be a motivator for others, and others, it's just the nature of the beast, right? So I have taken people at 2 o'clock in the morning to several treatment centers and called them ahead of time. So I have those type of connections with the treatment centers, the other recovery houses, to where I think that's where it lies, where we all need to stop more
communication.
Honest communication. Honest communication.
Now, what about men and ladies? Your house is
a co-ed, yes.
Co-ed?
Co-ed, yeah. And a lot of people think it's tough. I look at it in a different frame of a brother and sister. That's what there are brothers, there are sisters. Some say that, one is different or harder than the other. I just keep it at an even keel. I don't.
Everybody has to do their part in the house with cleaning.
Everybody's got to do their
cleaning,
part.
cooking,
Absolutely.
all that stuff.
Absolutely.
Working.
Working, like I said, a lot of people think you got to get a job, yes, to be responsible and a productive member of society. However, I had to get on a consistent basis get back on track, which was my recovery, going to those meetings, and I didn't know what it meant back then. This was May 3rd, 2011 that I came in on this journey, and I just try to coach them through it.
So you're in recovery?
I am. 14, I'll be 14, May 3rd.
What made you get into this recovery housing issue?
I was hearing and seeing a lot of things that were happening back then. I think it was a politic game, if you will. I think that needs to be taken out of these recovery houses. Because, the feelings, I tell them straight out, this isn't about your feelings. It's about your life. If you want your life back or a new way of living, I will help that the best way I can. I'll connect you to where I can. I can't do it for you, but I will do it. I'll help you.
You're a good trainer.
I do it in my own. I don't just tell you what to do. It's or how to do it. I do it day in and day out. Storms, no storms. It's just the ups and downs that go.
What kind of responsibility is it for someone who's in the recovery house, both either financial or scholarships? How does that work?
So, our particular house is self-pay.
We'll just talk about yours.
All right, so it's self-pay. However, I've reached out to others, Buddha to be one, and I haven't got any type of response, because if I have an open bed, I think the state should sponsor that bed to help to get somebody in. That's just my opinion. And no, that's fact. I don't want to say that. That's fact.
It's not opinion.
Enough with this floating stuff. I'm sorry.
I got to go to break. Let's talk more about this when we come back, because this is a big deal.
Absolutely.
You're watching Recovery TV, and I'm your host, Sean Tassoni. We'll be right back with Mr. Rico Warren right after these messages.
And now, back to Recovery TV with your host, John J. Tassoni Jr. Recovery TV is made possible by our supporting sponsors and our title sponsor, AdCare. Now, here's John and today's guest.
Welcome back to Recovery TV, and I'm your host, John Tassoni. I kind of messed up during my information about Rico, but Narcan, please get it. You need it. Put it in your car, put it in your purse. It saves lives. It saves lives. We're losing too many folks. So, Rico, thank you again for joining us today at the Coastal Wellness Center of New England.
Thank you.
We talked a little bit offline about team. You want to build a team. Tell me about the team you want to build. Obviously, it's got to be better than the Patriots.
Well, I'll tell you, we have to go through the pain to get to the glory, right? And we've been in the glory with the Patriots, referring to the Patriots. But this is about people's lives, right? I want a team of people who want to be there and be a part of something special, not just need to be there to get a check every week to provide for their family, It just doesn't make sense to me. It's like oil and vinegar. It doesn't mix. And to be able to pick those people out without any type of judgment or worrying about someone else's feelings, I think would be a good step in the right direction.
You know, there's a lot of people that could utilize the thinking that you have, and I mean that sincerely. A lot of people that I talk to, run into, we have conversations about people who are struggling with substances and mental health. What you do, I'll tell you, and I visited your location and spoke to a number of your clients.
Right.
It gives them a stepping stone to become more productive, being clean, knowing what to do in order to be productive citizens again.
Mm-hmm.
And one gentleman really struck me was, and you know who it is,
Right.
was in the service,
Right.
way up there in the service, and
Right,
unfortunately he had an issue. But just speaking to him, how we have military guys up here,
Right.
and he was a high-ranking military person,
Absolutely.
and then all of a sudden he was down here, and reality set in. He had no place to go,
Right.
no place to live. Came to your place, and I don't know if he's still there, but the last time we checked, he was starting to turn his life around.
Right.
And that's what we need. We need people to turn their lives around. Because ultimately, if we don't get them to turn their lives around, they could either be a danger to themselves, a danger to their families, and a danger to society.
Right.
So I commend you for what you do.
Thank you.
And I also commend you for being in recovery for 14 years.
Right.
It takes a lot of work, day in and day out.
Facts.
You know,
That's
day
true.
in and day out. And when someone that comes into your facility is down and out and it's just coming out of residential treatment and looking for a place to live, and they see what you have accomplished in your life in 14 years, being clean and doing what you're doing now, I kudos all the way to you, my friend.
Thank you. I
Kudos all the way.
appreciate you.
So what's next? What's next for Coastal Wellness? Are you looking for another building? What are you doing?
I would say a partner who truly wants to see the flow of life. That's what I'm going to actually label that as the flow of life, because you're taking someone from the darkness, see their lights turned on mentally, but nowhere else to go. When you say a new way of life, we have to show continuously. So consistency is what builds confidence, right? And that's what it did for me. I'm no better. Listen, high ranking or not, we don't care about how much money you got, who your connections were, what you've done in the past. Only what you want to do about your problem and how can we help you. That's as simple as we got to keep it. And then faith and trust. And
You know, also, when I came to visit your facility, you had like a food bank.
I
A
did.
little food bank in there. How is that going?
It's doing its thing. I just keep replenishing it every now and then. Right now, it's, people come in and they're pretty much, they know where they have to go to get the help they need, right? And if we can connect them, if they don't, that's what we do. Some come in here and say that, well, what do I do? Well, it's like a deer in the headlights. It's like, okay, shut the light off, and this is where we're going. So do you believe in what we're doing? Yes. All right, let's move.
How has the community accepted your recovery houses in that particular location? Did you have a problem? Is everybody on board? Do they help you out? I mean, do they know you're there?
I don't. They know we're there. However, my thing is, it's like anything else. I keep my focus on where I'm at. I've had friends of mine ask me, Rico, what's around your place? I don't know, other than the gas station down the street, because I'm only concerned on what's happening on my block, right there. I have met with the mayor of East Providence, and, he's come out to the house as well. My thing is, there's a few hiccups like anything else in the road.
Yeah.
But my point of it is that they know we're there, they know we're trying to do the right thing, and that's all I can tell you. Everybody is on pace. We just need more assistance of getting another home to have a flow, like maybe studio apartments or something like that for them. So while we work with them, they've been with me a year, they're paying their rent on time, they're doing what they have to do as meetings, I got them doing schedules every week. They got to put it in under my door of my office. They do chores in there. I mean, all the basic stuff we have to let them go to the next level is where we're going to connect them.
I think, well, you know, one of the things that, you know, when I went home and talked to family members about how clean your place was, how the backyard was all dressed up with cooking equipment, you know, the chairs and everything that you had outside. It's like having their own home. And if you don't take care of your home, you know, things go awry. But if you take care of your home, anybody.
That's right.
If you take care of your home, that's a place where you live, you park, you know, you can enjoy yourself. But I think what you have put up in East Providence, I think it's a gold star.
Thank you.
For you, you know.
It's for everybody in recovery, right? If that star can be like a lighthouse, I'm good with that. I'm not here to try to dock on anybody else or what they do, because it's not easy to do this day in and day out.
Right.
To you know, show somebody who's been used to something all their lives to come in and they, okay, in the beginning it's like a honeymoon, but then it sits down and it's like, okay, reality sets in. Great, well, which way are we going with it? I do assessments every week with each individual. I have house meetings, mandatory, drug testing, random. It's you cover all bases. And me being the first one to take the drug test, always. Because if I'm gonna be the leader, I must lead. Not just say I'm leading and then do things like here and there. It doesn't work.
We're gonna take another quick break.
Absolutely.
You're watching Recovery TV, and I'm your host, John Tassoni. We're right back with Rico Warren.
And now, back to Recovery TV with your host, John J. Tassoni Jr. Recovery TV is made possible by our supporting sponsors and our title sponsor, AdCare. Now, here's John and today's guest.
Welcome back to Recovery TV, and I'm your host, John Tassoni. Rico Warren is in the house. Rico is with the Coastal Wellness Center of New England. Thank you for coming on, and thank you for what you do, Rico.
Thank you.
It's really stand up. Stand up. And you used a phrase a little while ago about a handout. Repeat that for me.
Oh, about giving someone a hand up instead of a handout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you talk to individuals during the interview process, what is it like when someone comes out of recovery housing, or comes over to your recovery housing, different from the other recovery housing? As you indicated before, this is the rules. Here are the rules. If you don't follow the rules, I'm sorry, you can't stay.
Well, there's only two rules I don't veer off the road with, and I just mentioned it earlier, was honest communication and do your part. Too many rules give you too many outs. You're gonna go out, there's no doubt.
Yeah.
So that's why I keep it simple. If I can keep it simple and work with those basics, then the consistency will start to show itself. And it has in a lot of people that I have come to my home from prison, treatment center. They come from all walks of life. I mean, it's just the way it is.
How long can they stay in your recovery house?
There's no limit
No
until
limit.
they find their way. That's how they stay.
Who's been there the longest? I don't want to use names. But
No,
how
there's a
long?
gentleman that's been with me almost 14 months.
Okay.
And he's had several, that's the glitches that I was talking about earlier, is that he has applied, he's done everything he could do. I've even written him a letter to help him out, because he's doing everything he has to do. But because he had an eviction on his past, it's tough for him to get into an apartment, whether it's subsidized or not.
Right.
I told him, you stand still. God's gonna work that out.
Yeah. I want to thank you for coming on.
I
really
thank you,
appreciate
my
that.
man.
All right.
You're a good guy too. Don't keep giving out compliments.
Next-
He's a good
next-
man too.
Next week, my guest is Better Lives Rhode Island. I look forward to seeing everybody. One thing I want to bring: if you see something, say something. See you next week.